So my wife and I had the opportunity to go to the Sevilla Cathedral. One of the coolest parts was climbing the bell tower. There were about a dozen massive bells up in the tower that we heard throughout the day during the time we were there. The largest of the bells weighed 2 metric tons, which is like 4,400 pounds. Now logically, being in a place like that, any saxophonist would start thinking about the rumor, the myth, the legend of Mark VI saxophones. That part of the reason Mark VI saxophones are so incredible is because during World War II, they melted down the bells to make ammunition for the war. And that after the war, there were lots of shell casings and cannons and things like that that were left over that were then recycled and utilized in fabrication and manufacturing throughout Europe. The short answer is that there is no verified historical evidence that World War II shells were melted down and turned into Mark VIs. But it's not really that far-fetched. First off, brass shortages were common during and after World War II. In these areas, church bells, statues, and other brass objects were requisitioned, melted down, and turned into brass artillery shells, cannons, and other things. After the war, there was an abundance of spent shell casings and other ammunition components. France was well positioned to have easy access to this recycled material, and it likely made its way into all sorts of industries, including instrument manufacturing. So when Peter Selmer was asked if Mark VI saxophones were made from recycled brass that originated from church bells that were melted down and then used as artillery shells, melted down and then recycled into sheet brass for saxophones, he said that he really had no idea, that they certainly didn't specify that that was the brass that they were to use. He said at the time it was hard to get brass at all. And so, frankly, Selmer Paris used whatever brass they could get their hands on, which historically we know very likely could have been this recycled brass. So while the romantic rumor of church bell brass to artillery shell brass to saxophone bell brass may not be totally verified, it is plausible.